Okay, let's start to deal with how we're going to enter the guillotine from the top. Our main entry is going to be versus the seated open guard. So in this scenario, I'll be approaching Rory's guard. Again, I've always got my alignment. I can be even feet if you can't easily reach out and get to my feet. So as long as I'm here, I'm fine. As I start to engage in a hand fight, I'm going to choose to step into the middle. Some people will let you do this. Some people, it's going to be a battle, right? Like he's going to be framing. Oftentimes, like he doesn't. A lot of people don't want you to get here. Some people want you to get here because they want to play this style guard. This is usually where we're going to be able to employ this more often. But if you are diligent about your hand fighting and you gain that kind of like end of lever fingertip control, you should be able to get here and immediately set up your collar tie. We basically don't want to approach this if we're going to try to do this, because if Rory strengthens his alignment, and grabs my head, I'm in broken posture, I have no base, my structure's gone, he's good to go, right? This is, any of these sorts of things, again, if we discount alignment, any of these sorts of things can go south on you in a hurry. So I'm gonna be stepping in and I'm gonna be checking the distance. I'm managing the range using my collar tie. Again, not so much folding my elbow in, more just using it against his collarbone here like this. Now let's rotate. My trigger for the guillotine entry is going to be what's happening over here. This is where like we're going to be hand fighting, and at some point, if I'm able to get here, I go. If I'm not, like as long as this is still happening, glue your elbow to your ribs. As long as that's the case, I'm not necessarily going to go for this. Right? I have to get his arm away from his body and hook underneath it while passing him to the side. So I will not be reaching over and opening my elbow up. I'll be underhooking and passing the head to the side so that I stay in good posture. My spine is straight. I have the chin strap style grip, and I've got my hand connected to his lat here. Right? As I'm able to flare this, that's what enables the pass to happen on the far side. We'll go over what happens when we do arm in later, but our main weapon here is going to be the underhook. Let's turn this way. The next thing that's important about this, a little bit more, is my right knee needs to protrude through this gap. If I'm trying to make this work and my knee ends up on this side, again, he is fixing his alignment. My strongest mechanisms are being pointed away from him as he's pointing his at me. So once I get this control, I'm closing the elbow and I'm going to here. This is going to allow me to keep pushing him this way. Even if his hand is posted, I'm totally fine. He can't generate force. He can absorb some of the force I'm generating, but he can't generate force to drive me back the other way. Not only that, if this hand is posted, his hands are not coming in to defend himself, then I'm immediately just going to finish. So that's kind of going to be our first like checkpoint, way station, decision point is I've stepped in, I collar tied him, I won this hand fight, I got to here. If as my knee protrudes, his hand goes to the mat, I just step forward, change my hip angle, finish on the guillotine right there. However, let's turn a little bit. What's likely to happen as you do this is your partner's hand is going to go to your wrist, knowing that the guillotine is a threat. My knee is going to go to the mat. Now I'm going to back step, keeping my underhook, my ribs still covering his face. He's going to try to trap me in the half guard. That's a given. We're going to go over how to just attack the guillotine out of the reverse half guard in another video. But for now, I'm going to kick his leg off. When I say kick, I just mean press and extract while pointing my toes. I'm not trying to like stomp a hole in his thigh. If this doesn't work, use your foot with your heel buried and just pry open against the bottom leg. If he tries to trap my top leg now, I just withdraw it and I switch back to my shin covering his hip. I don't want him to walk in and trap me in the half. Once I'm here, you'll notice that Rory was hand fighting with me. He immediately grabbed my hand. That's totally fine. I'm not worried about that. This is actually kind of a placeholder for me because I try to pull my arm all the way away, but it can't really go anywhere. It's stuck in place. I can't finish right now, but he can't remove my arm. Meanwhile, he's denying himself the ability to go into base on this side. So as long as I keep, like I'm reverse bro handshaking him, right? Try to build to your base, to your elbow. It's really difficult. If he does, we'll have an answer. But if he does, he's gonna have to let go. So we're here, we're underhooking. I've replaced my shin over here, and now I'm just gonna move into the mount. As I move into the mount, his arm is still gonna be holding. I've moved into the mount with my leg covering his arm. This allows me to release and attack the mounted triangle if I so choose. Right? So we're using the guillotine in this case to pass and then move into mount with a highly dominant like submission potential. If we want to finish on the guillotine from here, as we get here, we collar tie, we win our underhook, we get to here, our partner's hand starts to come in. As we move across and back step out, when I want to finish, let's just scoot down a little bit. If I want to finish, this is very similar to what's going to happen with the reverse half guard guillotine. If I want to finish, my hand is going to come in and go underneath his wrist. So he's gripping. He will have gripped over top of my wrist like this to activate the lever and pull down. My hand is going to come inside of that to make that Gable style Rafa Mendes finish. So I'm here. He's thinking that I'm going to go high elbow. So he's holding. I'm trying to do this. He's like, ah, man, I'm good. I'm safe. Hand goes back, fights to here. My foot comes inside, and I hip in. Even if he's covering this, it doesn't really matter because my hip is just performing the finish. Right? So those are our two variations. We're going to end up in the reverse half guard and attempt to finish. Just go back here. When we attempt to finish, if this doesn't quite cut it, it's going to be because someone's really emphasizing, yeah, this. He's really covering, and he's going to build his base up now. Exactly. I'm going to put my left butterfly hook in right away. Let's turn a little bit. This way. So he will have both his hands in place. He'll build to his elbow. When he builds to his elbow, he will have spread it out a little bit. I'm going to flip him back over and finish with that same high elbow guillotine. Anytime you're in this, and again, we'll go over this again in like the reverse half guard, but anytime you're in this position, it's no big deal to let someone back up. There are going to be several like contingencies that occur. So we can be here, Rory's covering, I'm trying to finish on this. Let's say he thinks that he's safe by keeping his right arm here, and he spreads his left hand out for base. Exactly. I can push him and go back to high elbow. I can let him get all the way up. Flip him back over, cover and finish. Like this butterfly hook that we talked about previously, this control where we're using the upper body control with our chin strap or our underhook or overhook, and then using our frames and hooks to manage the distance and flip our partner over. It ensures that no matter what, once I get this control, if you try to build back up, I don't really care. Don't panic. As long as you don't allow your partner to hop over to the weak side, as long as you keep this block in between you and access this butterfly hook while their center of gravity is to your right, you're going to be able to either finish or get on top and again pursue like the mounted triangle or stuff like that. It's super reliable. Like if I get here, I feel pretty comfortable almost regardless. It's just a matter of getting there. And the top open guard entry is one of the best ways to get here.